What's up, buddy? It's what Jim. I'm doing a live stream on my own. This time I've got a special guest with me, and we're going to be talking about the first two albums by the band, the two that were released in the 60s, and they are the albums Music from Big Pink from 1968 and the Band Brown album from 1969. They're the only albums I've heard by the band. I might end up listening to more albums by them, but at the moment I just heard the first two, and they're going to be comparing those two albums and also revealing my top 5 songs by the band. So I'll just briefly just talk about my history with the band. I got into them because of the vinyl community, and they're really talented group of musicians. Before I even heard of the name of the band, my own super group that I made up was actually called The Band, until I realised there's actually a band called that. And I've actually got one of the albums for one of the band members' solo careers, and that's Robbie Robertson, who was the lead guitarist and the main songwriter for the band. I got his first solo album, and I quite liked it. Got Sam in the chat. Hello, Sam. I know you're a big fan of the band. Yeah. So I might just want to get started with my thoughts on Music from Big Pink, their debut album. And it's a fantastic debut to start with. It really, really is. Hello, Nick. Nick's a fan of the band as well. It's great to have him in the chat. So, got something that's a big Robbie tribute happening in Fall California. Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. We with some of the bands and artists that are going to be there. I wonder. Yeah, the first two albums are really good. So it released in July of 1968, and the first time I heard this album was actually when I was in Scarborough. I was on my Scarborough holiday. So there's 11 tracks in total. The first one is co-written by Bob Dylan. If you don't know, the band were actually they started off being a backing band for Bob Dylan. I'm not sure if all of them were, but I definitely know Robbie Robertson was. But I think the band did go on tour with Bob Dylan at some point. I'm not sure when, but they definitely did go on tour with him at some point. So it started off with Tears of Rage. The main vocals on this one is Richard Manuel. And yeah, I think it's an excellent song to start off. It's one of the highlights of the album. I'm not sure if I would have started the album with this. I think The Wait would have been a better album opener, but this is still a brilliant song. It's a fantastically written one. It's a very epic song. Yeah, I love it. And the second song is also the main vocals of this one are Robbie Robertson and Richard Manuel again. It's not one of my favourites on the album. It's actually my least favourite, but I still think it's really good. But it's just the first track on the album. It's so fantastic. It's had a lot to live up to. Yeah, I've heard the Basement. Well, I've not heard the Basement Tapes, but yeah, I know they did a Basement Tape with Bob Dylan. Oh wow! Well, there's loads of people that going to be there. Well, Eric Clapton. Wow, that's quite a list of people. All right. Yeah, I know they toured Bob Dylan around 65, 66, right? It was 74, that was the time period I was trying to think of. So then you move on to the next track. By the way, my version of Music for Big Pink's a double album. So because of that, I'm going to be counting it as a double album for this. So the next track is Inner Station. Again, not one of my favourites, but I still think it's an excellent song. And Richard Manuel got his main vocals for that one. But the next one is with his lead vocals from Rick Danko, and that's Caledonia Mission. I think that one's brilliant. It's one of the standouts on the album. It's definitely a deep cut, but it's one of the hidden gems on the album for me. And then you end with one of their biggest songs, The Wait. Such an iconic classic song for the 60s. I love the storytelling in it, and I think pretty much all of them, a lot of members of the band, I think have vocals in it, but so the ones that are listed on Wikipedia are Lee Von Hell and Rick Danko. But yeah, it's such a fantastic song. Not really got too much else to really say about it, but it's definitely one of my favourite songs of theirs. Is that a new Deadpool movie, Nick? Because I don't see it, and I thought it was very good. But yeah, I'll see you Sunday, Nick. I'm going to be doing a live stream on the Bee Gees on my channel. Yeah. 20 favourite books. That's pretty cool. I'm not too sure whether the band has their favourite vocals. But now we move on to the track. Yes, we can talk. We can talk. Yeah, another fantastic song, another standout. So you got, in fact, 3 back-to-back songs. Because I think the next one's excellent as well with Long Black Veil. So you got, to me, four just sort of 4 classic songs after classic band songs after classic band songs for me. And We Can Talk has lead vocals from Mal Wilhelm and Danko, the 3 out of the 5 members. And Long Black Veil has Rick Danko on it. And then you got the track Chest Fever, which has got the main vocals by Rich and Manuel. I think it's a really excellent song. It's got a really catchy sort of riff in it, but I do think the song goes on a little bit too long. So I don't think it's a perfect track, but very, very close to being the perfect one for me. And then the final side, you've got Lonesome Susie, another deep cut on the album, but another standout for me. You got Richard Manuel doing lead vocals for that one. I've noticed a pattern here. It tends to either be Rick Danko doing vocals or Richard Manuel doing vocals. Oh, didn't know it was a traditional tune. Oh, I think it mentions it. Wikipedia didn't notice that though. Oh, it's today. I did not know that. I didn't know it's Garth Hudson's birthday today. He's the only living member of the band. He's 87. Wow. I had no idea it was his birthday today. So happy birthday to Garth Hudson. Or Garth Hudson, something like that. I think it's Garth Hudson. They got the track This Wheel's on Fire. Another really good song. Middle of the road for me on the album, though. Not really got too much else to say about it. We've got lead vocals from Danko in the last track. Got lead vocals by Manuel. That previous song was co-written by Bob Dylan. This one's fully written by Bob Dylan. And it's the song I Shall Be Released. I think it's a beautiful song. Gets me every time. Love the vocals on it. Love the organ playing it. I think it's a song that still sounds fantastic today. And it's my favourite song on the album. So, yeah. That's my thoughts on Music from Big Pink. Overall, yeah, a really excellent album. 9.75 out of 10. Let's see. Let's go to a couple of the chat. So because of that, I might as well share a ranking of all the tracks from Music from Big Pink. So my number 11 is To Kingdom Come. Number 10 In the Station. 9 The Wheels on Fire. 8 Chest Fever. 7 Caledonia Mission. 6 We Can Talk. 5 Long Black Veil. 4 Tears of Rage. 3 Lonesome Susie. 2 The Wait. And 1 I Shall Be Released. And I'll move on to my thoughts on the band self-titled, also known as the Brown Album. I tend to refer it as the Brown Album. But I can see we've got Jason in the chat. You like Stop and Cripple Creek? I'll be sharing my thoughts on that song in a few moments. But yeah, it was released in September of 1969. So let's just get to it with the first track, which is Across the Great Divide. So yeah, I think it's a really excellent song. You couldn't start the album better, in my opinion. It's one of my favourite songs, not just from this album, but from the band in general. Yeah. And I also think it was the best way to end the debut album by the band as well. But I wouldn't mind watching the last one someday. I might have to buy it on DVD. But yeah, I absolutely love Across the Great Divide. The vocals from that, lead vocals on that one. It's Richard Manuel. We've got Leave on Helm, the next one, which is Rag, Mama Rag. It's not one of my favourites on the album, it's one of my least favourites. I still think it's really great. Very upbeat, up-tempo song, but yeah, it's just not one of the standouts for me. Then you got the most well-known song here, The Night They Drove All Dixie Down, which, spoiler alert, it's my favourite song on the album. Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I love every second of that song. And lead vocals on that one is again, Leave on Helm. Pretty cool, but Leave on Helm's got 2 back-to-back tracks with lead vocals on. Yeah, I highly recommend Beauty with Big Pink Jason. Have you heard? I'm assuming it's a Brown album. You've heard them, the self-titled album. I'm glad you really like Rag Mama Rag. I really like it. It's just not one of my favourites on the album. Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching Lost Waltz at some point. But yeah, Night of Drill Dixie Down. Fantastic song. Enough said. Next track, you got Rick Danko lead vocals, and it's When You Awake. And When You Awake, it's not a perfect song for me, but I thought it was very close to being. It's definitely one of the better songs on the album for me, even though it probably is middle of the road in terms of ranking. But yeah, I still think it's an excellent song, though. I think you got the beautiful ballad, Whispering Pines, that stand out for me on the album. And you got main lead vocals from Richard Manuel and Leave on Helm. That's it for the first side. Now we move on to side 2. Just making sure I've got through the chat. I think Cahoots is Larry Graves' Canadian Sun Muffins' favourite album by the band. Yeah, The Wait is one of my favourite songs of theirs. Yeah, definitely check out that song, Jason. I think it's I want you to check out the Last Waltz version. That's my favourite version of It Makes No Difference. Yeah, it's a beautiful, heartbreaking song. That's one of my favourite songs by the band. I would talk about that one shortly because it's in my top 10 songs by the band. Right, so now we move on to side 2, where we have Jemima Surrender, lead vocals, Leave on Helm. That sounds favorite version of Makes a Difference too. Last Waltz version. But yeah, my thoughts on Jemima Surrender. Excellent song. Not got too much to really say about it, but it's a song that always puts a smile on my face when I listen to it. Then you got Richard Manuel next, lead vocals on the next track, Rocking Chair, which another one of my favourite songs on the album. Even though it's still middle of the road for me, but it just goes to show how great this album is. The fact that it's middle of the road, I still think it's an excellent song. Then you got Lookout Cleveland. Yeah, really great track. Not one of my favourites, but I still really like it. Lead vocals on that one, Danko. Then you got Jawbone. Lead vocals Richard Manuel. This is one of the catchiest songs on the album. It's got like a piano riff in it that's really infectious. Yeah, I love Jawbone. Then you got the beautiful song, The Unfaithful Servant. In my opinion, the album should have ended there. That would have been a perfect album closer. Yeah, it's a fantastic song by the band. And the lead vocals on that one's Rick Danko. The final track on the album, lead vocals Richard Manuel. It's King Harvest Has Surely Come. It's a great song, but it's the album closer. I really don't think it should be the album closer. It is a really great song, like I said, but I just think The Unfaithful Servant was so good, and it would have ended the album much better in my opinion, but I still do really like King Harvest. So my ranking of the tracks: number 12, King Harvest; number 11, Rag Mama Rag; 10, Look Up Cleveland; 9, Jemima Surrender; 8, When You Awake; 7, Rocking Chair; 6, Jawbone; 5, The Unfaithful Servant; 4, Whispering Pines. Oh, hang on, there's one track I've not mentioned, so I'll come back to that one. And number 2 is Cross the Great Divide, and number 1, The Night They Drove All Dixie Down. The one song I didn't mention, which is what Jason mentioned earlier, that is Up on Cripple Creek. Yeah, how could I forget that one? It's my third favourite song of this album. Yeah, Up Cripple Creek, lead vocals, leave on helm. Yeah, very catchy song, very fun song to listen to. I just can't believe I forgot that one because it's one of my favourite songs on the album. I just completely skipped over that one. But yeah, I'll now give a rating out of 10 for the Brown album. It's another 9.75 for me, but I do prefer overall music from Big Pink to the Brown album. Although when I first heard both these albums, I did prefer the Brown album, but after listening to them again on vinyl, I prefer music from Big Pink. And I first heard the Brown album when I was in Blackpool, of all places. Yeah. Yeah, Rick Danker's got excellent vocals on that. Yeah, but yeah, it's so funky. Up on Cripple Creek. Yeah, it's a great one. Right, so. And I'll move on to the top 5 songs for the band. Before I do so, if you're watching Sam, I'd like to know which of these albums you prefer. Do you prefer the Brown album? Or do you prefer music from Big Pink? So my top 5 songs for the band, honorable mention is Lonesome Susie. Yeah, I think it's an excellent song, that one. Didn't quite make the top 5, but my number 5 is the first track of the Brown album. That's Across the Great Divide. My number 4 is my favourite song from the Brown album, Tonight They Drove All Dixie Down. My number 3 is from the Northern Lights Southern Cross album released in 1975. Just spoke about the song a few moments ago, and that is It Makes No Difference. Sam prefers the Brown album. My number 2 and number 1, both are music from Big Pink. My second favourite song by the band's The Wait. My favourite is I Shall Be Released. Yeah, that's my favourite song by the band. It wasn't even one that they wrote. It was one that Bob Dylan wrote. So, yeah, them are my thoughts on the first 2 albums by the band as well as the top 5 songs of theirs. Yeah. They're a really excellent band. And I look forward to listening to probably more, hopefully, more songs of theirs. So, there is one thing I might as well mention, though, and that was a little bit of a story with music from Big Pink. It was a 45 half-speed master. I didn't know what we didn't know that before we listened to it. So we listened to it, it was really slow. It's because we didn't have it on 45. But once we did, it sounded normal then, but we were really going to send it back to Amazon and get our money back or get the album again. But there was nothing wrong with it. We just had to put it on the right speed. But I thought I might as well mention that here. I've not really got too much else to really say about those albums though. But if you've not heard them, highly recommend to they must have albums to get on vinyl as well, in my opinion. But if I'm being honest, I get a bit confused which member of the band's which. I think they all look quite similar. I know which one Garth Hudson is. He's the one with the long beard. But the other 4, I get a bit confused which one's which. I think they all look quite similar. Does it help that I've got the Brown album behind me? It's got them in black and white. But I'm sure someday I'll be able to figure out who's who. But I know which one of the band plays what instrument. So maybe that might help. Maybe if I watch the last waltz, I might be able to know which member of the band's which. But yeah, I'll have to listen to more of their music at some point. But I think we'll probably just need a live stream here. Please let me know your thoughts on these albums and your favourite songs for the band in the comments below. Which of these albums do you prefer? The Brown album, or this self-titled album, or music from Big Pink? But I'll just make sure I've caught up with the chat. A couple of chat comments here. I'll read them and probably conclude this. Right. So yeah, if you hear Southern accent, it's legal. Which one's which on the self-titled album cover? I know the fourth one's Garth Hudson. They're a lot. Those drums don't matter. Yeah, so I think most of the band's songs Levi Helm plays drums, but yeah, there are times that they all just swap instruments around, which I think is pretty cool. That's why they're one of the more talented bands out there. I might as well wait one more minute, just in case Sam does tell me which one's which on the self-titled album cover. But oh, here we go. So it's Richard Manuel first, then Legal Helm. I thought that was Legal Helm, I was not 100% sure though. Rick Danko, Garth Hudson, and Robbie Robertson. Don't know if that blonde. Yeah, he looks a bit like Legal Helm sort of looks a bit like Gordon Lightfoot, a little bit. That might just be me. But yeah, I had no idea it was Garth Hudson's 87th birthday. So happy birthday to him. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, peace and love, and ciao. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.